If I wasn't a fighter, I'd be.
I'd probably be in the or the dope game, maybe the rap game. I don't know. I mean, if I wasn't a fighter, maybe I'd have something to do with the sport. Something like that.
Fuck it, I like the first answer. We're gonna take the first answer, Chuck. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'd like to welcome you inside the GGN News Network. I'm your host with the most, Finding Nemo, aka Nemo Hoes. And today on my show, I got one of mixed martial arts' greatest fighters, coming from Stockton, California, close friend of mine. You may know him from knocking motherfuckers out and being banned from the league for doing what we do. He's here today to have some fun and talk about it. Give it up for my man, Nick Diaz. Nick, what it do?
What it do?
Slow motion, how you been, loved one?
All right.
So tell me what you've been doing since the last time we seen you in that octagon.
Yeah, no, I just been really just making the rounds, trying to help out in camps when I got guys that I have training. I'm training with. They have camps, so I jump in a little bit on and help out a little bit. But I've been giving a little seminar here and there. Going I had 500 people show up to a protein shop one day. I was just kind of did a little just doing what I can do, something rather than nothing.
So you like more or less like a mentor, and you like sparring, and you still stand in the game because the people still love you, and they still wanna hear what you have to say, basically, right?
Yeah. Well, I think I was like, someone told me that the other day that I was like 49 or 45 or something like that on the UFC roster, the first 45 people. So now they got like 600 or 1,000 or whatever whatever number it is. I don't really.
Yeah, but you're part of that original.
Good with numbers.
That lineup that first came out. The
origins.
The inspiration.
Early on.
Yeah, you show people how to really get it in because coming from a small town like Stockton, and doing your thing, representing. You always stay down, representing, taking on whoever they put in the ring. You got down with. It really wasn't even no weight class when you first started, right?
Yeah, well, no, I was right when they started weight classes. Well, they had a few weight classes, and then they added a 55 division. And right when they added that 55 division, the lightweight division, then that's when I started fighting at welterweight.
The weight was like off. Like you could be like 20 pounds heavier than somebody.
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, it was good. It was a good show back then. When it was like they kept it like that in Japan for a long time, and the Pride.
Did you ever see Royce Gracie fight?
Yeah, that's how I got started putting people in triangle chokes.
Oh, you went to go train with him?
So I'm not really fanatical about fighting now. I'm not like, oh, I love to fight. But when I started, I was more like, okay, why don't nobody want to watch it? And then I'd go and I'd train. I found this place where people were doing, where there's this guy, Steve Heath, he was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And he had learned from Cesar Gracie. That's where you guys blue. That's
Pops.
Yeah, our cousin. So they're all cousins and family and Gracie. So I already knew what I was looking at when I watched, And nobody else was a big fan, UFC fan, but I did a little bit of karate and a little bit of boxing. So I was watching, and then I started training there, and I would tell all my friends, like, look, I'm choking these big old bodybuilders, because everybody that was in MMA early on, they all was like pro wrestlers.
And they was getting their ass
kicked. It was all like pro
they was
wrestling,
getting choked out.
Yeah, and there was no weight classes, and it was But so the people that were in there were some big dudes, and I was like 6'15", putting a choke on them. So I was like, okay.
The submission hold, the Gracie brought the submission holds to light, where people didn't underestimate the little guy no more, because the submission could break that big guy down. Are you good at submissions?
I was in competition like for all the way 15 till I was like I think 22 or something. I was doing high level like competition like Pan Ams. All this, it was different though. Now they have the whole, IBJ, JF, whatever, it's different now.
It's a business now. When you did it,
before
it was a sport.
It was just like, it was different rules and everything, yeah.
You was in the beginning where it was basically bare knuckles. It was, it was brawling. Did you ever go to London and get down in one of those bare knuckle fights that they have out there?
No, not in London. No, I never went. Yeah.
That's where the motherfucking pinnacle is at. You know that, right?
In London, right?
No, fucking for real, dog. No. They got some shit where they got a motherfucking underground, and it'd be a bunch of old motherfuckers in there, and they got this one dude, he's a cold champ. When this motherfucker show up, he get drunk as a motherfucker and he beats anybody that he get in the ring with.
Oh, did they pay good?
No, I don't think it's a big payday. It's a lot of betting going on, but I don't think the fighters get none of that cut.
Yeah.
So tell me, what did they suspend you for? Because what I was told was what you got suspended for, normal athletes like in the NFL or the NBA would get like a couple of games suspension to keep continuing on with their season, but they did something to you that was a little different.
The thing is I never tested positive for, I never, you know, and that was the verdict in the end, because when you go and you make an appeal and it's like, okay. So in the end was, oh, you filled out the application wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I said, well, you know, last time I filled out the application right, I was supposed to fight Eddie Alvarez way back. Eddie Alvarez is about to fight that Conor McGregor right now. I was supposed to fight him way back when I was fighting, you know, in lightweight and in Strikeforce. And I filled out the application wrong. And so Armando Garcia, who was like the lead, you know, the dude of the NSAC back then, he pulled me from the card. He did a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I think they got rid of his ass. But
behind some paperwork?
Yeah, so he pulled me because I put, you know, oh, what'd you do in the last, like, you know, month? And I was like, well, you know, this is out of competition, but, you know. And then, so because I'm like, okay, I'm going to test, but I'm under the limit, so what, you know.
Yeah, what's the
So
problem?
it's all kind of, to me, I'm like, okay, that's kind of a scam, but whatever.
Have they lifted that and allowed you to get back into
Yeah, because Cher.
Sonny and Cher?
Yeah, Sonny and Cher. So she,
that
because
Cher.
they had a,
Cher from Sonny
yeah,
and
they made a
Cher.
petition to turn the suspension over, so then she put a retweet or something, you know, I tweeted that out, and then
she got behind
I started
you?
getting a little bit of play. Yeah, she did.
Shout
on
out
Twitter.
to the homegirl,
Yeah, shout out.
Cher. Have you met her?
No, my mom's always a big, huge fan, though. I was always, you know,
No, Cher was
seen
the
all her
business,
movies.
man.
Yeah.
Look here, man. When we was kids, she was something special with that long hair, man. You understand me? Her and Sonny Bono. You dig? Cher, what it do? Holla at my nephew in real life. You grew up in Stockton, man. Stockton, is that considered Central California or Northern California?
It's northern, out north. But there's
What's it
not
like?
a lot going on. I mean, there's you know, if you go to school, I guess, and you do, you know, for me, I had training. I always had training. I had 3 to 5 fights a year, 37 fights. 17 years later, all I was thinking about was weight. What am I gonna eat? I had 2 5, 6-year girlfriends, and you know, I just stayed really.
Do girlfriends mess you up when you
Absolutely. No.
Is it because of their attitude or is it because of their sex?
No, that I you know, it's you got anything you're dealing with, you got to just, you know, moderation.
Do you think the sport has grown since the day you liked it to the day you stopped fighting? Has it grown?
Yeah, it's been multiplied. I mean, now you got girls, you know, recognizing me or you know, because they watch.
Oh, so the bitches when you walk in.
Well,
hey,
you know,
girl,
when you walk
Nick,
up and then
that's
or
Nick
when
Diaz,
when
bitch. You don't. That is Nick. And then Nick be on. What's happening?
They.
Want me to knock a motherfucker out?
They're like, I never heard of you before, right? But then they're like, have you ever heard of what? Have you ever heard of Ronda Rousey? I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, she beats your ass.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just saying, it brings. I get a lot more attention now. I mean, like,
who is your favorite fighter today?
I don't know. Maybe Carlos Condit.
Carlos Condit?
No, he's a nice guy though. But my brother.
Nate?
Yeah.
Nate Dogg?
Stylistically though, no, I always like Carlos Condit because he, you know, amounted to at least somewhat of the level of doing what I do. I mean, you know, but I think he stands a little upright. You know, he needs to.
This past year, we lost Kimbo Slice. What was your relationship like with him?
We was always hanging out at the Strikeforce events or the Elite XC back in the day. Yeah, we was just smoke blunts.
For real?
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice was a bad motherfucker.
Because we would headline the whole show. It would be me and Kimbo Slice. I mean, I knew it was the Kimbo Slice show, but it was me and the Kimbo Slice show.
That's right.
Because I was the MMA fighter that was bringing the MMA crowd, and he was the
street fighter
he
that
was
was
the street fighter bringing the street crowd. And
both of y'all was dogs. Y'all was kicking.
Yeah, and we was, you know, in Texas and out here in LA. I think out here in LA before.
See, that's dope shit right there, man.
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice, rest in peace. Real motherfucking nigga. You know what I'm talking about?
Hi, this is Stormy French reporting to you live from the beautiful Seattle, Washington. Sunday through Saturday, our weather's looking a little bit bipolar, kind of like a lot of the women out here. Sunday through Wednesday, it's gonna be super hot, so you wanna make sure you break up with your girlfriend because there's gonna be a lot of hoes out there with some skimpy outfits, and I know all y'all fellas like that, so make sure you break up with her. And then you wanna make sure you call her back on Thursday, because on Thursday it's gonna get a little chilly, and you're gonna wanna get back with her because it's gonna be cold.
Will you be fighting in the next 9 months?
As far as fighting goes, I'm just waiting for, you know, these guys to do something and, you know, I don't know, add some character to their lifestyle. Maybe they need to paint their hair like people used to do.
Yeah, for real though.
You know, I was always throwing a fit about it, right? Like I'd fight somebody, they'd have their hair painted, and I would be like, this fucking, it's not enough that this guy asks to win a fight against me, you know, he's going in there to fight. But he's got to do it with his hair like being on blast, like pink mohawk, and he's doing like...
Making a scene.
Just a wild man, right? Yeah.
Making a scene before the scene.
I felt bad though. I fought this one dude who did that, and then I beat him up pretty bad, and then I don't even think I shook his hand after the fight, and then I feel bad about that. Well, you know, and I think I wrote him, I think I even direct messaged him one time or something like that. I was like, hey man, sorry for... But he didn't message me back.
I got some questions I want to ask you called Everyday People, AKA real nigga shit, and you can just answer to the best of your ability. What's the first thing you do or think of when you wake up?
I don't know, maybe hit the weed, get out on a run, if I could.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
In-N-Out or Fat Burger?
Fat Burger.
Denny's or IHOP?
Denny's.
Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Neither.
Favorite sports team?
The 49ers.
Weekends or weekdays?
Weekdays nowadays.
How many times a day do you think about sex?
I mean, occasionally.
That's a good answer, good answer, good answer. If you were stuck on an island for a whole year and could only listen to 3 albums, what would they be?
Probably Deftones, Adrenaline, because I just would, you know, want to hear it one time. I don't know. I'm too indecisive. I just want to throw. I had to throw one in there. So it's the first thing that came to my mind.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I'd be like Wolverine, where you just heal again.
When they shot him, and that motherfucker just bam, and all of a
I
sudden his head.
I don't need the claws. I'll take the claws too, but I don't need the claws. But I'll take those too.
Okay, now this right here is called finish the sentence. I'm gonna start it. You finish it. I always wake up.
In the morning.
I look for blank in a woman.
Understanding.
That was nice. My favorite position is?
Quarterback.
Good shit. That was a great answer too. My name is Nick Diaz and I'm a...
Ninja.
He's a ninja, baby. Give it up for my guest, the one and only Nick Diaz, for stopping by the GGN News Network. I'm your host with the most, Finding Nemo, AKA Nemo Hoes. Nick, can't wait to see you back in that motherfucking octagon doing your thing, putting hands on somebody. In the meantime, shout out to his brother, Nate. Nate, we're gonna see you on the 3-peat when you and McGregor do your thing, man. I might have to walk you out, you dig? Until we meet again, DPG, see you.